Hey, what's going on, everybody, and welcome back to another Age of Empires 2 video. I am T90, as always, and welcome to a 1v1 on Arabia. What else is new, right? What else is new? 1v1 Arabia, high-level players. It's what players like to play, and out of all the maps that I have casted, this has definitely been the map that I've casted the most. We will see some very unique things here, though. I think that's why players play it on user patch on Voobly. I think there's something like over 5 million different possible map generations you can get on Arabia, and that's why players enjoy it, and that's why I enjoy it as a caster. So, Spring, he is one of the best American players. He is playing as the Incas. Spring has been playing this game for almost as long as Doubt has, so about 15 years. He's an old timer, and I've had the pleasure of meeting him. He's a really nice guy. And then we have Sony Taprano. I might call him Tony because his name's a bit confusing. Good show, as in reference to, I almost said True Detective. The Sopranos, of course. Or in this case, the Tapranos. He's a Turkish player. Taprano is about 2K on Voobly, which puts him very high up there. And he plays a lot of games, so he's active, he's not rusty, and he's ready to go. He is playing as the Goths. And unfortunately for the Goths, this could be kind of a difficult matchup. Incas having their champions, having Heavy Scorpion, having access to Slinger, and having some early game bonuses that Goths don't have, like houses having extra population space and whatnot. That all bodes well against the Goth player. If you're in a rough position, Civ-wise, it's always good to switch it up. It's always good to try a difficult strategy, and that's what Sony Taprano is going to do in this game. All right. Now, Spring, speaking of difficult strategies, he's about to start off this game with some style. These boars were behind the wood line, and he thought of an idea to bring in both at once. Check this out. Oh. It was a nice thought. You have to shoot both of them twice. Okay, now he's making a run for it. Look at that. He shot both the pigs twice. They both should chase him. And I think this means he'll bring in both of his boars. That's pretty creative thinking from Spring. Meanwhile, on this side, he was thinking about laming Tony, but he was unable to do so. Let me just double check. Yep, both pigs come in. See, Spring's got the skills to pay the bills, guys. He knows what he's doing. So, I have a confession to make. Or not really a confession, but I have to bring something up about Spring. He was one of my first friends amongst the top players. I, of course, stream all the time on Twitch, and I love doing so. And back when I started, he and MBL were really the only two who gave me any recognition, because there really weren't a lot of people around back then. They would host me frequently when I was casting. You know, he was around in the 10 to 15 viewer days. And also, when I lived back in Pennsylvania, we lived pretty close to one another as well. I got to meet him a few times. One time, Dave and I went out for a couple beers with him to catch up. So he's a really cool guy, and that means a lot to me, man, because Age of Empires 2 is... It feels like a different community. It doesn't feel like a bunch of people just playing games. It feels like I really belong here, and I think, you know, the players and the viewers, and, you know, everyone on YouTube and Twitch also feel the same. So I like the guy a lot, and I feel bad because most of the uploads to my YouTube channel featuring him have been losses. And it's not because I don't like the guy. It's just because his losses seem to be more entertaining. And one loss in particular was where he got walled in about a year ago now. It's called Most Annoying Strategy Number 5, Wall in Your Opponent. And that strategy is so rare, in fact, that I also uploaded a video last month challenging people in the community to try just that. I wanted to see more of it. Well, Spring, he's going to find himself in a position to try this, and he's going to find himself in a position to get off the loser board, I guess, the YouTube channel. Poor guy, I don't know if I've ever uploaded one of his wins. So, Sony Taprano, as I said, he doesn't really have the best civ to match up against the Incas if this game goes late. So, what he's going to try and do here is called a Drush Fast Castle. He's made 3 militia nice and early, and the idea is to delay Spring and full wall his base, and then get to Castle Age as quickly as possible. And then, you know, from there, he might go Knights, he might go Crossbows, he might even try to go Huskarls, but that's the play. The problem with this type of a strategy is you're only relying on walls, and you're giving your opponent full map control. So there's pros and cons to it. Spring, on the other hand, as he will lose a villager to the Drush, so this Drush is already successful. Very, very good, and it's going to idle these villagers. Spring, he was thinking about going for towers, or maybe he was just expecting to be towered, I don't know. Is he going to lose that? No, he doesn't lose that villager, but man, is he is really getting annoyed now. Spring, come on, man. Oh boy, no, you walled in your dude. Dude. Okay, this is a very successful Drush, alright? So certainly not the prettiest game ever from Spring. He's playing Age of Gates at the moment. He's about to be in Feudal Age with tons of food, but nothing to show for it. So meanwhile, Tony, for some reason he's not taking this boar. What? I'm recording this on the same day I'm recording the one with Mentalist not having access to one of his boards. Why? I saw that earlier. Maybe he's tired and just didn't realize it was there. I mean, or maybe he's gone vegan. I don't know. Oh man, he's just been trapped in. Spring with the quick gate. It's still not all that efficient to build that many walls and that many gates and have to build a tower at home for 3 militia, but I guess you get some style points for that. Okay, I was not expecting the Dark Age to be this sloppy, but hang with me, okay? Because Sony Soprano, he didn't take his pig. He still has not clicked up to Feudal Age, and now he will have no military. So what's Spring gonna do? Well, initially, doink! Initially, he's thinking about towering, which is good. Towers, as much as I don't like them, they do balance the walling in Age of Empires 2. Is the one way that you can get some damage in quickly without having to build archer ranges and making archers. Plus, it has more range than archers. This tower position is okay. This tower position is questionable. And perhaps now Spring starts to think, somebody walled me in before, and it was a popular YouTube video. Maybe I should try to do the same. I have a lot on stone at the moment. These towers aren't doing all that much, and I don't have any other form of military being created. Tony, his strategy says, come at me, Spring. Build towers on me. Wall me in if you want. Go for it. I'll break out. And Tony is having a very slow fast castle time because of the lack of food from the boar. And also, I guess, because he's on stone, so he's definitely thinking of making Huskarls nice and early in Castle Age. Now, you know that time where I said that going for Huskarls and any form of infantry as Goths can be tough against Incas? Well, it's not so tough if you get the ball rolling with them before Spring is in Castle Age to make those Slingers. And it's not so tough because Slingers are rather slow. So this is something that could actually work out. Okay, I guess Sony just figured out that he's taking the pig. He hasn't figured out he's taking the pig. Obviously he knows he's taking the pig, but he's figured out the pig was there. And Spring is going for it, guys. Spring is going for it. So, as far as I can see, these gates will keep Sony Soprano from leaving here. You see some walls on the front, which will prevent Sony from leaving there. He probably needs another villager to be safe here. He's beginning to go for the Stonewall strategy. This game was so interesting that I knew it needed his own YouTube video. On November 1st of 2019, I will be uploading the Wall in Your Opponent Challenge video, where some of the games sent in from you and some others in the community YouTube will be casted. But I didn't want to put this in with the others because this is just going to be so good. And it's not like Sony Soprano is in a bad position. If he builds a castle, he can make a few batards and break right out. So we'll see the pros and cons of both strategies, believe me. Spring is playing a risky game, though. Imagine if Soprano would have gone archers. He would have just deleted his walls, killed these villagers, and been over to Spring's base, where Spring would have nothing. And Spring is playing wide open over here. His map isn't really that good. Lots of hills. It's like hill nothing. But no archers. And it's going to be castles. And now another tower for Spring. Spring still has yet to click up to the castle age. What will Sony do? Okay, so guys, I think Sony needs to build his castle forward. And to be honest, I hate this castle spot. I would throw this castle spot in the trash if I could. Unfortunately, technology is not there yet. But why build a castle here, my friend? Build it here. Build it up against the edge of the walls. I mean, there is some risk that Spring might tower it, but Spring only has one villager there. This is also probably not the best position to... Well, I was about to say it's not the best position to place it, because Spring could always use the cliffs to wall. But there's also a cliff here that Spring could use to wall behind. So I guess... I don't know. I just wish he would have placed the castle here. Spring is going to wall behind regardless. He sees the castle is on the way. And he knows the risk of letting Goths fast-track their way to the Huskarls. Yeah, Palisade walls are being deleted, so Sony's thinking about this. And immediately queues up 2 petards. So I'm a bit disappointed I'm not streaming this at the moment. On my Twitch stream, we have the T90 petard emote. Normally I like to see my chat spam those emotes, get hyped, because petards are so rarely seen. But here's some fun facts for you. You need 2 petards to bust through... Oh, actually, these are feudal age walls, so it's just 1 petard to bust through feudal age walls. When Spring hits Castle Age, the HP on his walls double. Then it would be 2 petards to go through a Castle Age wall. And if Spring gets Fortified Wall, which he may do, then it is 3 petards. Alright? 43 villagers for Sony, so he has more. He will go to 3 town centers. Do not underestimate what Goths can do with economy. The Spring is going for a strategy which is extremely risky, and you have to invest so much into it. Will it work? This is so typical of Spring. He went for a fast university to go for fortified wall. Fatslob much? Yeah, he's fatslobbing, that's for sure. Now, it's not really going for fatslob if you... It's not really going for Fatslob if you're Incas, I know. So my apologies there with the title. But I like to call this Fatslobbing it up. It's a little bit backwards. We don't have Black Force, but this is as close as we can get with high-level players. By the way, shout out again to Capture Age so we can see the percentage on these gates. Oh my god, that was so close. If he had another petard, Sony would have been out. Sony is making an additional petard now. Spring still has yet to research Fortified Wall. He is going for a second town center. If Sony gets out, the game probably ends, because these Huskarls arrive to Spring's open woodline in gold. The Spring does not have an archer range for slingers, so he's committed to the wall strategy. Out of respect for Fatslob. Fortified wall will soon be completed, which makes these things a little bit stronger. 4 TCs, though, for Sony, so producing out of all 4 of them. Soon we'll have 20 more villagers. Spring desperately needs more walls. He desperately needs to keep Sony from getting out. I don't think it's worth it to go for ballistics for the towers, but maybe the towers will help out by attacking the petards. There's that petard. Boom. Alright. Spring's just building more gates. Oh my god. Can he do it? 48 pop to 76. It seems so unlikely. The economy difference is just too huge. Now, he does have some towers going up on this side. Unfortunately, these guard towers are attacking the house instead of the villagers. I like the Siege Workshop edition. Probably could have happened earlier, but Sony's he's flying high with 27 extra villagers. He's even making rams now, so I can make an argument for rams or mangonels. Mangonels are nice because they can prevent spring from walling more. Rams do not do that. I do hear spring just made a monastery, so yeah, there it is. I think the only way that spring wins this game is if he's able to keep Sony out and get all the relics and somehow catch up in economy. Which seems very unlikely because of the build difference, but never underestimate what forcing idle time could do. He's denying this wood line. He's denying this wood line. He's denying this gold. And Sony doesn't really have room to breathe much. Still, though. Man, Sony also has the farm numbers up. That's what's important here. Look how many farms he has. He has a total of 42 farms. He's running out of space for them, but still. I think Sony has figured, I'm not going to get up. Or, sorry, I'm not going to get out. So I might as well go imp. Hey, what's going on with this gate, by the way? Why is this gate not fortified? Didn't pick up on that. Dude, you know what? You know what Sony could have done? He could have gone for a siege tower. He could have deleted his palisade walls here and gone for a siege tower. He didn't think about that. And Spring is building a castle on this side with one villager. All in Fatslob. All in wall in. Spring is 30 vills behind. And Sony Soprano is on his way to the Imperial Age. Well, guys, I think we all know it's going to be tough for Spring. I said earlier I upload a lot of his losses. He's wide open at home. He's working on getting the relics. If you look to the bottom right now, you see he has 1. He has 2 on the way back. He'll have 3 soon. 4 is here. He could get all 5 if he gets the one in the north. Oh man, he's had to quick wall here, but Huskarls are out. And that castle is doubt. Failed castle. See, this is why I like to see players attempt this kind of stuff, because it's so risky, it's so all in. And now Sony Soprano. I'm not sure what he's thinking, but he's got to get something more out. Nice attack round from Spring. Another attack round from Spring will kill the Huskarls. Hey, if he could get more walls up. Nah, I don't think he can do it. I don't think he'll be able to build this castle comfortably. Oh! Oh my god, Spring! With the attack rounds. You know, he does have 23 kills and 3 deaths. That is something else. Maybe, if he builds walls here and here using these cliffs, he can keep Tony out still. If nothing else, admire Spring for his dedication to the strategy. Still doesn't have the res for Imp. I'm not sure what he would go with an Imp yet. But he's building gates, baby! Bill Gates would be proud. Oh no! Oh no, there's a hole there, Spring! No! Bill would not be proud. Ugh. Oh god. No. No, no, no. Oh, that hurts. That, you know what? That's what happens when I cast people's games. Curse the commentator. Jinxed him. I thought with these gates he could keep him out a bit longer. Not so sure now. And Sony's getting elite Huskarl. Spring, what he needs is to make another line of defense. The castle's on the hill. He could be thinking slingers. This wood eco is disgusting. The title of this video is Spring Fatslobs. And I'll tell you what, that lumber eco efficiency is definitely Fatslob-esque. Beauty of slingers is if you make enough of them in Castle Age, they can deal with Imperial Age infantry. They're a unique unit for Incas. They're like hand cannons, except you can make them in Castle Age. That's quite cool. Spring also, he has 2 relics, which is a bit of a surprise. I have a feeling that monks are going back towards the monastery now. Monk there and monk there. Gotcha. Okay, so he's got some relics on the way back soon. At least one would hope. Man, Sony, I think he sees the score, and he's really overconfident. He sees the score, and he figures there's no way I can lose, because I must have more eco and more tech. But where has he been? He has not pushed forward at all. That's a huge concern for him. He wanted to destroy the towers, which he's done. That's cute and all. But now Spring is having the time to get those relics back to his base, wall up a little bit more. He's built a defensive castle. He will probably soon be making some slingers. And he's also walling up his flank. So guys, if you're ever playing Goths, walling your base is huge. Especially if you're defending with units that are not very strong. Or what am I talking about? Duh, if they're not very strong. If they're not very mobile. Spring lacks mobility, so Spring needs to defend on the front and stop Sony from raiding the backside of his base. Look at Teprano expand. He sees the extra gold. Boom, immediately there. He's had so much more economy in this game. In fact, when we look to the achievements, as Spring is building more gates, when we look to the achievements, whether Spring wins or loses, I think he's going to be behind in most resources collected, except for stone. Spring still only has 2 relics collected, but a few of them are on the way back. He lost that monk, and he loves his gates. He has to prevent this from happening, guys. It's really important, and fortunately, this has created enough of a choke point where his slingers are doing work. His slingers have done a fantastic job here. Thing about Goths is they can spam so quickly, it's possible that Sony Teprano, with 2,000 in-game score lead, can win this game. Despite the bad KD, he can just spam. And here comes the spam. How good are the slingers going to be? Pretty damn good. So far. Spring tried the wall, he committed to it all Castle Age. He did gain some good things from that wall. He got all relics but 1. And that's right in front of his castle. He's getting kill after kill after kill in these engagements. He now has Bracer for his slingers, which gives them 8 range. And he's still barely holding on to his castle. Now, I think this is one of the rare times where Goths might need to consider going into something other than pure infantry spam. And Sony Teprano is thinking the choice is Onager. I mean, I would really like to see Ram here. I would also really like to see Skirmisher. But it's hard for me to say if his eco's in the position to go for Skirmisher. I mean, he is killing some slingers, so maybe with Onagers and with Skirms he'll be okay. But Spring is holding the line. He's holding the front. He snags that relic. That will be his 5th relic. So all 5 relics will be under his control. Spring has pretty much caught up with economy as well, at least in numbers. I'm not sure about efficiency. There's also a gold in the south, which he does not see. But I don't think Tony Soprano sees that either. Okay, so Onager, Huskarl, more military population for Sony Teprano. So the fact that Spring even held on when he was 30 vills behind is just something else. And the strat now for Sony is to kill the castle. Once this hill is his, he thinks he wins the game. And honestly, he's not too far off. The issue is, Spring is going for Fatslob strategies, and he's gone for defensive traps. And with defensive traps, I think that Sony Teprano's trebuchet will die. There it goes. No, never mind, it didn't go down. Oh, but he commits to the fight here! Okay, the Treb still hasn't died. 2 Onagers are on the way. Spring's trebuchets will die. Oh no, Spring! Oh man, Sony Teprano had just enough to kill the Trebs. He now has 2 Trebs firing. Can Spring survive? You hate to see it. You hate to see it. Well, after all is said and done, Sony Teprano lost a lot of Huskarls. The Spring needs more repair villagers here ASAP, and he needs an answer to these Trebs. He's also making a tech switch to champions. I mentioned this in Dark Age, how Incas do have the counters to the Goth infantry. Champions and slingers would be beastly. Red has 1,400 gold. It's 500 food floating. He's making onagers, huskarls. He has 3 trebs on Spring's Castle. This is a game that Sony Soprano should push home and win if he pushes soon. It's gotta be soon. And if he gets past these gates, boom, 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 boom. Build gates. Spring's motto. Now, what I would do is just kill the archery ranges. Also, I would kill the archery ranges, and I think if I'm Sony Soprano, I send Vils forward and I build a castle here for the position. Now, he does not... No, he does know that Spring is going for the infantry choice, so he should also mix in champions. So, champion Huskarl would be the play now. I could also go for hand cannons. Again, one of the rare moments where Goths should possibly consider something other than just their infantry. If he had built a castle here, I don't see how Spring can push this. But you can tell that Spring is tempted to make a move. With the two-handed swordsman running to the north to flank. The slingers down in the south. Or the east, rather. It's a good fight for Spring so far, but it's a risky fight with the onagers behind. If he deals with the onagers, he should clean this up. Oh, man. Oh, what an insane engagement! Spring has more numbers than the Goth player. And Red's units aren't fighting! What are you doing, Huskarls? Huskarls are already gonna struggle against the two-handed swordsman. They'll struggle against the slingers. The onagers are down, and Spring is right back into it. Remember, he has 5 relics, so if he stalls this game out, which he's just done, if the game lasts longer and longer and longer, Spring will have more and more of an advantage. Again, I think Red needed to castle forward. Now, it's very easy for me, sitting here in the caster's booth, to say Red should have done this or that. It's always easy for us when we're spectating. So I'd like you to keep that in mind if you're watching on YouTube. I never want to discourage people from playing this game. Both of these guys play a lot, and as I said earlier, I thankfully didn't discourage Spring from continuing to play with some of my my judgment in his past games. Spring told me that this game was better than this game, the one that has almost 1 million views and featured his demise. He said this game is better than that. He said this game will have, I don't remember the exact number, but billions of views. I can only hope. But, I kind of agree if he finishes this off, because if you remember, Spring didn't have access to any stones or gold in the video that has 1 million views. Sony Soprano had golds and he had stones, and he had 30 or 40 villagers more. So in terms of how difficult it was to win the game, this is definitely more difficult for Spring than it was for Melkor in the game where Spring got walled in. Can Spring get that monkey off his back? That YouTube monkey? The monkey that continues to upload videos featuring his losses and not his wins? 75 military for him. 27 military for Sony Soprano. I think Tony Soprano, or Sony Soprano, or Piano thought he had it in the bag. He had over 2,000 score lead. That is normally an indicator the game is over. You should not lose when you have 2,000 score lead. He really felt like he had it. And so for that reason, he figured, okay, full Huskarl spam and I win. Full champion spam and I win. I don't need to do much more. I don't need to raid. He has tried it a few times, but Spring has cleaned it up. I just haven't been able to talk about it much. Well, cleaned it up with his villagers' faces, but you get what I'm saying. Now, this is almost what I would consider an unstoppable situation. Unstoppable composition. Spring has 5 relics. Spring has champions. He has slingers. And the only gold that Red had is probably the 20 gold that's remaining there. I can't imagine he has any gold remaining. Yeah, so 5,000 gold left on the map. Spring is collecting this. And I guess there's some down there, which he doesn't really need. He has trebs on this castle. He has trebs on this castle. He has champions in the north raiding. And it definitely feels like a what just happens moment for Red. How did I lose this game? How did he wall me in like that? I can't believe it. He snipes one trebuchet. A few slingers, but Spring will have a lot more where that came from. And here's a kind of a panicky castle, I guess, from Red. Not sure. Maybe wants the flank secured to raid, but he can't protect his own economy now. The economy that brought him the 2,000 score lead is all going to get taken out. He really has done a good job with booming. Just seemed like he wasn't as active as he needed to be. He underestimated the Inca civilization, and he underestimated Spring a little bit. Now, we all know that Goths can spam their way back into victory. The infantry is cheap, but it's always a bad sign when you're out-popped by 20 population. That's what it is right now. Spring, he consistently has 20 population more than the Goth player, when his units are more expensive. And he has the relics. And he will have the extra gold in the south. Oh, and this gold. Red just can't keep up with it at the moment. He's trying. He's trying to raid. Something that could have worked earlier, but these villagers are all dying. His farmers are really what he needs to keep alive. And Spring will now take out this castle, so this is open for champion and slinger raids. Spring is getting closer and closer and closer to victory. Man, he was so dedicated to the wall strategy. The plan was to upload all the wall attempts in one single video on November 1st. But this is too good. It needed his own video. Fatslob would be proud of everything except the Inca choice. And this was really well played from Spring. Look how much he sees at the moment. So when he calls the GG and resigns, Spring kept his opponent walled in for a large portion of this game. And when Red got out, he defended, he had the relics to live with, and he punished them. He won the game. Congratulations, Spring. Man, I feel so much better about myself now. Because so many uploads had been Spring losses. He deserved the YouTube video here. And I'm looking forward to seeing some more from him recently. You know, funny enough, again, Spring and I are good friends. He kind of dropped off recently, and I didn't say much about it, but he dropped down to the 2K rating from his 2K3 rating, and it didn't look like he really cared when he was playing. He took a few weeks off, and in 2 weeks, he went from 2K to 2K3, and he'll actually be playing in a big best of 31 this weekend on my stream. So whenever I upload this, if you happen to be around on the, I don't know dates, God. I tried to go to the calendar and I went to the calculator. The 12th and 13th, I don't know when I'm uploading this, but on the 12th and 13th, I'll be streaming best of 31 between Spring and a German player named Neely. So looking forward to that, looking forward to more casting, more streams, more videos. I love you all. Let's look at the achievements. I think that Spring will still have less food and wood. Maybe, he'll probably have more gold now. He might have more stone, I guess. No! Look at that! He had less food, he had less wood, he had more stone, but he had less gold. But the walls bought him time, and thank God he got the relics. So all 5 relics certainly was going to help him as the game continued. Now, would that have worked if he wasn't Incas? Just thinking about this now. I mean, if he's Japanese, probably. They have the samurai, or just the champions. Vikings, maybe. Other strong infantry civs could work there. But I think Vikings, Incas, Japanese, there's a select amount of civilizations which can bring someone back from near death. Like right here. Right here is where I expected him to die. And I think from here to here was where Sony Teprano thought that he had the game won because he had 2 to 3K score lead and he was just clearing up towers instead of raiding and pushing. That's where things went wrong for him, for sure. I mean, even still, even here, once Spring was taking some fights, it was not all that good for him with the score. It was not that good for him with the eco and the military. But he held on, and he got the win. So congratulations, Spring, and hope to see you guys soon in the next video or stream. Have a good one.